I'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Supervisors Grady, Skolitsky, and Retzloff are excused this evening, and we also have Megan Sutter from Human Services, one of our Youth and Governance, and Isabella Ricker from Legislative are here tonight.
Mention that too. I said mention
Yep, when we get to the announcements. Okay. Any citizen comments? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Michael Bell, 3317 13th Place, Kenosha. You know, Mahatma Gandhi once said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they attack you, and then you win. And I'm here to make sure that I don't get ignored about the cause that I'm fighting for. I know that this might be uncomfortable for some people, but sometimes doing the right thing is always not the most comfortable thing to do. And it's also not the most popular thing to do. I had 24 billboards up in our community. Did anybody happen to see one by chance? I know they've been out there. But we've also just changed them, and it says, please cover up, expose, see video. And we released a video this week on the anniversary, last week on the anniversary of my son's death, that shows the complete cover-up by the Kenosha Police Department. I sent that link to you. I don't know whether you have had a chance to see it, but it's been very powerful. On Monday, the Free Thought Project published an article called Air Force Colonel, that's me, buys 24 billboards to expose cops who killed his son. And it was released at 1 o'clock on November 19th. And by today at 6 o'clock, it had the author had contacted me. It had been viewed 615,000 times. If you go to a Facebook page called Play for a Change,
It'll pick up your
I'm
voice.
sorry. There's a pre-roll video that's being released to all 24 University of Wisconsin colleges and campuses throughout the state. It's set to a geographic target, and it's allowing people to go and see this video of what had happened here in Kenosha. I don't know if you remember back in 2014, there was an election. It was Sheriff Beth against Zarletti, and Sheriff Beth's mom actually got on the radio, and she talked about what a fine man her son was, and that she always taught him that it was very important to be honest and to do the right thing. What I'd like you to do is this, I'd like you to go and take a look at that video that I've talked about tonight with that evidence. I think you're going to find it irrefutable and very compelling. And then when you see Sheriff Beth, ask him if he's doing the right thing and not opening up this investigation into the death of my son. On October 2nd, I asked 4 agencies to investigate the death of my son: the Kenosha Sheriff, the Kenosha County DA, the Wisconsin Department of Justice, and the Mayor of Kenosha. And little did I know that all 4 of those agencies got together, talked with the city of Kenosha, and they made a decision not to open up an investigation unless there was any new evidence. And you will see when you see that video that there doesn't need to be any new evidence. But what really bothered me about that whole event was this, is that the city of Kenosha, who I feel conducted a criminal act, got to be involved in determining whether an investigation should be held against it or not. And as one legislator who helped me get Act 348 passed, on the bill that says that you cannot investigate yourself, he said to me, he said, Mike, that's like the robber being able to determine what the line of questioning is that he's going to be asked in front of the jury. And so with that, I leave you, and I ask you to watch that video and determine the failures of the Police and Fire Commission, of the City of Kenosha, who has not done their job. I've asked them on numerous occasions to go ahead and open an investigation, a proper investigation, into a homicide of a young man, and they haven't done their job. So with that, I end. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments? Citizen comments? Any other citizen comments? Seeing none, I'm going to close citizen comments. On your desk, you have papers for the upcoming election if you are running and if you are not running. Those can be filled out and returned to the clerk's office. Also, there is the annual county board holiday party invitation. Please have that back to the clerk by December 5th. That would be our next meeting. Anything else, Mary?
No, papers need to be in by January 2nd.
Oh, papers need to be in by January 2nd. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on.
Supervisor reports.
That's my- hold on. Supervisor reports. Supervisor Elverman, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I reported on our facilities meeting at the last meeting. One of the items I reported on drew the ire of a constituent that's been emailing me, so I wanted to address that a little bit this evening. The item I reported on was the new agreement with the Kemper Center. And the reason I was reporting on it was it was a signed agreement between the county executive and Kemper Center. I was just reporting. I was not trying to coerce anyone because we aren't voting on that. So it was just a part of my report. And in it I said, and I've got the Kenosha News here, Alderman said the agreement also provides consistency in funding. There were years we did 100,000, there were years we did nothing. It has never been a solid, steady thing. So the reason I'm bringing this up this evening is I know this was copied to some other people. The person's name is Rita Franco. And my first email from her said, Supervisor Elverman, why would you feel the need to lie to the citizens of Kenosha when you said that there were years we did $100,000, there are years we did nothing? Elverman said, it has never been a solid thing. Dating back to 1978, records prove that your claim in the Kenosha News article is false. I eagerly look forward to your reply. So since this one, I've gotten some others, and I replied to her that I would love to meet her and show her I said I checked my records, my statement was correct. Please contact me with a place or time that I can meet, and I'm sorry I meant to say far from a lie. Thank you for responding to my email. This is from Rita. I prefer that you email the records to me that support your statements. I'm confused as to why your numbers would be different than the numbers that your fellow supervisors share with me. If needed, I can always request these from public records, which she can. And this one I think was today or yesterday. Seeing this is a holiday week, I would be content if you would please just send me the years that no money was given to the Kemper Center, Inc. And then I replied, Rita, I'll have the information with me at tomorrow's county board meeting. I'd love if you could attend. We meet at 7:30 at the county administration building. And then later on, as I find a reluctance to provide the information concerning your statements regarding taxpayer funding of Kemper Center and the Kenosha News can be fared by simply providing the data you claim you have. Well, guess what, Rita? I guess you're not here this evening. Hopefully you would have spoken under citizens' comments, but if you are, I do have the numbers here, which can be gotten by any citizen in Kenosha County and any county board supervisor here that wants them. So what I'll do, if Rita or one of her allies is here, is I'll leave these on my desk this evening, and they can just pick them up. But it verifies my statement going back to us giving $6,703, $18,000, I'm not going to read the whole list, $12,000, $60,000, $27,000, 2002, $16,000, 2003, zero. That's the one I think that irritates Rita the most. That I said there was a year we did nothing. That's 2003, Rita. And then we've been consistent with 100, 150. Only reason I'm bringing this up this evening is I know that some of you have been copied these emails, and I wanted to let you know that you have a way to get these numbers. Jim Kupfer's got them. He supplied them to me when I was working on a retaining wall on Mount Moriah in Twin Lakes, and I had them that afternoon. So I think Rita's got some reasons to not want to be out in public. We'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Overman. Seeing no other supervisor reports, we will move on.
Ordinance 21, first reading to required from Human Services and Finance and Administration Committees, an ordinance to make changes to Chapter 16 of the Municipal Code of Kenosha County. Gable, yes. Hallman, yes. Berg, yes. Blau, yes. Dodge, yes. Poole, yes. Retzloff, excused. Finance, Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Gens, yes. Retzloff, excused. Dodge, yes. Kubicki, excused. Esposito, yes.
Supervisor Gable, you have the floor.
Nope, it's two readings.
Oh, sorry.
This would be the first reading.
Oh, sorry, never mind.
Ordinance 22 from the Planning Development and Extension Education Committee, an ordinance regarding Action 50 LLC owner Keith Favaro, agent, requesting a rezoning from A2 General Agricultural District and B3 Highway Business District to B3 Highway Business District, Town of Wheatland. Decker, yes. Poole, yes. Skalitsky, excused. Gilmore, yes. Bostrom, excused.
Supervisor Decker, you have the floor.
Move ordinance 22, please.
I have a first by Supervisor Decker and a second by Supervisor Poole. Supervisor Decker.
Thank you. This property is located at the northeast corner of the intersection of State Highway 50 and 392nd Avenue. The rezoning would allow for additional parking for the proposed flea market and auction house. The Town of Wheatland recommended approval of the request.
Thank you, Supervisor Decker. Seeing no lights, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Resolution 55 from the Finance and Administration Committee, a resolution authorizing entry into the PACE Property Assessed Clean Energy Commission. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Esposito, yes. Retzloff, yes. Dodge, yes. Gens, yes. Kubicki, yes.
Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
I move Resolution 55.
I have a first by Supervisor Rose and a second by Supervisor Ron Frederick. Supervisor Rose.
All right, this is part two of the two-part proposal that was brought to the board at the last meeting. It was at the end of the agenda, and the meeting adjourned, if you recall, without action on this. It was intended originally that it be acted upon with the ordinance that we previously passed. Just briefly, if you recall, the ordinance authorized participation in a loan program which was going to be operated by a state commission of 21 people. And that commission was going to approve of various loans throughout the state by probably builders and developers who were looking at older buildings who had who needed more energy efficient heating, air conditioning, and other types of things like that. The board authorized that participation in that loan program. This is the implementation of that, which will be operated by a commission. And by your vote this evening, you will be saying that, yes, we will be participating in that commission, and we will be represented on that commission by an appointee of the county executive, perhaps even a member of the county board. There will be 21 other people who will be representing counties as well as the various municipality associations. They will make up the committee that ultimately decides which loans are approved and disapproved. So we ask your vote this evening to implement the authorization of participation on that commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no lights, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Resolution 56 from the Finance and Administration Committee, a resolution authorizing a loan in an amount not to exceed $6,165,000 to Bear Development LLC for the purpose of acquiring and constructing homes for the aged and indigent. Rose, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Kubicki, excused. Retzloff, excused. Esposito, yes. Benz, yes. Dodge, yes.
Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
Thank you. I would move resolution number 56.
I have a first by Supervisor Rose and a second by Supervisor Gantz. Supervisor Rose.
While the resolution indicates that we are authorizing a loan in an amount of $6,165,000 to Bear Development LLC for the purposes of acquiring and constructing homes for the aged and indigent, actually, we are not going to be loaning them money. And I want to emphasize to you this evening that there's no liability on the part of Kenosha County by authorizing Resolution 56. If you recall, we did this once before successfully with Bear on another project in Kenosha County. The resolution has been vetted by the council for the county. The bond resolution has been reviewed, and if you have any kind of legal questions, we have that attorney on the telephone who can respond to any kinds of liability questions or legal questions that you might have. What this really entails is Bear obtaining various tax credits through the state of Wisconsin, and the legislation which encouraged banks to make these kinds of loans for construction of homes and apartments for aged and indigent individuals. And to authorize this, there was a need to be a showing of local interest and support. And the way they seem to have done this, and perhaps it appears to us to be in a very clumsy fashion or one that's perhaps not quite comprehensible, is that these credits are developed by a resolution like this, which demonstrates that we, in fact, are theoretically loaning them this money, but the loan will be authorized through a letter of credit, and actually a bank will be doing the loan. So there is no liability on our part, no money exchanging hands from Kenosha County to Bear Development for this purpose. But this is the way that the legislation seems to be authorized, and it will assist Bear in participating and hopefully achieving the necessary tax credits and authorization for this project, with us basically endorsing it through this rather cumbersome procedure that is presented to you this evening, that offers no liability on our part, but does give them assistance in achieving the goal that they want to develop these homes in Kenosha County. And I want to emphasize again, this was authorized once before, so this is not something brand new to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Seeing no lights, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Communications from Andy M. Bueller regarding future items scheduled before the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee.
Receive and file.
Approval of the minutes from the November 7th, 2017 public hearing organizational meeting, annual meeting, and the November 8th, 2017 meeting by Supervisor Kubicki.
Supervisor Kubicki, you have the floor.
I move for the approval of the November 7th, 2017 public hearing and organizational meeting and the annual meeting of November 8th, 2017.
I have a first by Supervisor Kubicki and a second by Supervisor O'Day. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Move to,
I have a first to adjourn by
Adjourn.
Supervisor Kubicki and a second by Supervisor Ron Frederick. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We're adjourned. Thank you. Everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving.